have signed the framework agreement but not yet ratified it. It is focusing particularly on low-income countries, several of which lie in Africa. And the organization
implementing 9 programs, including new areas such as solar waste recycling and green hydrogen through solar. It is also trying to raise investments for its work. The broad target as laid down in the framework agreement is mobilizing $1 trillion of investment by the year 2030. India has been steadfast in its commitment to the ISA because we believe that it is a major instrument in the fight against climate change. India is the host country and has supported ISA with funds amounting to rupees 175 crore so far. It has also committed funding up to 300 crore over 3 years. India is also the current president and in its second consecutive term of 2 years as president. The 5th Assembly of ISA will be held on October 18 at Hotel Ashok, New Delhi. This curtain raiser also includes a briefing for invitee countries on the arrangements for the Assembly and associated events. The briefing will follow the press interaction by Honourable Minister, and before that DG ISA will make a brief presentation on ISA. I welcome you once again to this event. I now invite DG ISA for his remarks and presentation.
Thank you, Mr. Chaturvedi. Shri RK Singh, Honourable Union Minister for Power and Renewable Energy, Government of India, and the President of the ISA Assembly. Srimati Vandana Kumar, Additional Secretary, Ministry of New and Renewable Energy. Dr. Amita Sarkar, DDG of the CII, which is the organization which has been putting together the logistics for the program. Ambassadors, members from various missions, members of the press, ladies and gentlemen. The 18th, on Tuesday, the 18th of October 2022, we will be organizing the 5th Assembly of the International Solar Alliance under the presidency of India, Mr. RK Singh, and the co-presidency of France. On this occasion, we will be looking at a range of issues, which I will speak about in a little moment. But before I do that, I think it behooves us to briefly mention what the International Solar Alliance is all about. As the Secretary mentioned, the International Solar Alliance focuses on 3 priority actions, those dealing with advocacy and analytics, and we will be bringing out on the 19th, the day following the Assembly, 3 reports: a World Solar Technology Report, a Solar Markets Report, and a Solar Investments Report. We have been carrying out a range of capacity building activities as shown in the picture which is there. 2,791 people have been trained on a variety of subjects, but most importantly certified technicians. And something that surprised us but is extremely important is the training of bankers in our member countries to help in the preparation and the review of projects that are submitted for financing. Similarly, we have programs for policymakers and for regulators. We have also carried out and are carrying out a number of projects, helping countries in the implementation of projects as well as carrying out demonstration projects, particularly in the least developed countries and the small island developing states. The total number of projects that we have received for support in their preparation, in starting those projects off. We are not the implementing agency, but we help in finding implementation agencies. These together aggregate to about 9,500 megawatts, 9.5 gigawatts, and are solar water pumps, solar rooftop, mini grids, as well as solar parks. And they are distributed across the global south. We look forward to working with these countries in preparing these projects, then getting a project management cell in place in order to implement it further. We have also initiated a number of demonstration projects in the least developed countries and the small island developing states, 27 of them to be very exact, in the various places that are shown on this map, and the kinds of projects are identified. At the Assembly, we look forward to the inauguration of at least 4 of these projects. Let me also briefly talk to you about the program. On the day before the Assembly, that means on the 17th of October, Monday, there will be an opportunity for bilateral meetings with the President of the ISA, and in the evening we will host a dinner, an informal dinner, for all the delegates. I should also point out that the CII in parallel is conducting a program, and delegates to the Assembly are more than welcome to participate in the program. The delegates would also be free and willing to participate in the discussions that occur. On the 18th, that is the day of the Assembly, we have the inaugural session in the morning. This will be followed by a group photograph of the heads of mission, the ministers and the heads of mission from all the countries with the president and the co-president. This photograph will require a little bit, not too much, about 100 meters of travel, of walking between the hall in which the Assembly is held and the place where the photograph is held. And that evening, in the front lawns of the Ashok, we have the presidential dinner, which is hosted by the President of the ISA Assembly, and a cultural program that brings together not only the culture of India, but also the culture of many of our member countries. On the third day, Wednesday, the 19th of October, is a whole day program which is devoted to, number one, the release and panel discussions on the 3 reports that I spoke about, the Global Solar Technology, Global Solar Investments, and Global Solar Markets report. In addition, after the launch of these reports and the panel discussion on technology, we would be having in parallel, number one, panel discussions on the investment and the markets report on the one side, and the discussions on new technologies in solar and on technology transfer and absorption in solar energy on the other side. After that, everybody would meet together in a plenary to have the closing plenary session. This is on the 19th. Then on the 20th, for those who are interested, we will arrange for a site visit to the solar PV installation at the Indira Gandhi International Airport, where all the electricity that is needed during the day is met by the solar panels which are on top of the roof and the cargo building. And in the night, they source hydroelectricity. So it's a fully green building that all of you would have already passed through, if not seen, the solar panels. With this, I thank you for your attention and request the Honourable Minister for his comments.
Thank you, Ajay. Between the Secretary, Ministry of New and Renewable Energy, and the Director General of the International Solar Alliance, they've covered all the aspects which needed to be covered. How we see this, how our country sees this, is as something which is absolutely essential. We see the International Solar Alliance as being absolutely essential to our goal of energy transition, to the Earth's goal, and to our planet's goal of energy transition. Energy transition will require switching over to renewable energy. In renewable energy, solar energy is the cheapest, it's the most convenient. Its capital costs are the minimum. It is capable of distributed generation. So you can have mini grids powering villages and hamlets. And therefore it is something which can push the objective of universal access. Now that is another challenge before this world. The challenge before this world is not only of transition, the challenge before this world is also of access. You have about 800 million people in Africa alone who don't have access to energy. Now you can't give them access by relying upon the conventional methods of large thermal generation power generation plants coupled with transmission lines covering the whole country. That is a scale of investment which they will not be able to do and which is not required now. In any case, investments in thermal generation are something which will not serve the cause of reducing and stopping global warming. So solar is the answer. Distributed mini grids are the answer. And if the world is actually serious about energy transition, then the International Solar Alliance is the answer. What we bring to the International Solar Alliance and what the International Solar Alliance makes available to all the member countries, especially the member countries which have the problems of access to energy and the problems relating to transition, is that it houses a body of experts. It provides expertise. It provides aggregation to bring down the prices. And it's also in the so it has taken up a number of projects, both solar parks, grid scale solar projects, individual solar projects. It has taken up a number of projects. And this is just started. So it will multiply. Now, my call to the entire world is this, that if you are really serious, and we have had pledges in conference of parties that different countries will pool together $100 billion a year for the cause of energy transition. This is the place, this is the vehicle, the International Solar Alliance is the vehicle which will make this possible. Because it's working with countries which need it, it has the expertise, it has the plans in place, it's already started executing them. If you are really serious about energy transition, then start contributing. Otherwise, please hold your peace hereafter. That's the point. Because we haven't seen as yet, much money coming for energy transition from the developed countries who said that they will contribute to energy. And those funds are not coming. They are not forthcoming as yet. They need to start forthcoming. We in our country are serious. We put money where our mouth is, insofar as the International Solar is concerned. We are contributing. In our own country, our pace of transition is one of the fastest in the world. Amongst all the major economies, our pace of energy transition is one of the fastest. We are the only major economy whose energy transition actions are consonant with keeping the global rise in temperature to below 2 degrees. We achieved one of our NDCs good 9 years in advance. We had said that by 2030, 40% of our capacity will come from non-fossils. We achieved that in 21. And we are on the cusp of achieving the other NDC again in about a year's time, when we had said that we'll reduce the emissions intensity of our economy by 33% by 2030. We shall reach later. We have upped our ambition in COP26, whereby we've said that by 2030, we will have 50% of our capacity come from non-fossils and 45% reduction in emissions intensity. So we are on track. In fact, we are ahead of whatever we have pledged. And we shall be ahead of whatever we have pledged, because we believe in it. So we are contributing, we are doing it ourselves. Now, different countries have started taking actions for energy transition themselves. I am now asking them to contribute as well. The fact that 109 countries have come together to work on this is itself something which is great news for the world. It's great news for the world. This means that yes, people believe that energy transition is possible, that energy transition needs to be done, and we need to put our shoulders to the wheel. But my only request would be, and this is what I will tell the Honourable Ministers when we meet on the 18th, my only request will be that let's start pushing a bit harder so that we roll out projects much faster. The International Solar Alliance is coming up with 3 very innovative sort of constructs which are absolutely essential for capacity addition. One is a payment security mechanism, so that anybody, any developer which sets up capacity in any of the countries which need it, like Africa, in any of the African countries, they will be guaranteed a payment security. So the developer will understand that, I mean, he'll have this confidence that his investment will not go bad. There is a payment security mechanism. We found that it works in our country. We put in place a payment security mechanism, it works. And second is a fund for making the cost of insurance less, so that making the premium for insurance less, so that the projects can be insured at a lesser premium. That will also make these projects viable. Now, these are 2 things which are absolutely essential for multiplying the projects, multiplying the power generation projects in African countries, in countries where access needs to be worked upon. And the third, of course, is an investment funds. Now, I will be calling upon all my colleague ministers to contribute to these funds. And these funds will be sort of rotatable, they will grow. So this will be something which will spur and catalyze investments. Now, that's our objective here, that we catalyze investment in countries which need it, I mean, countries where energy access is a problem. So I believe that the International Solar Alliance is the biggest, and 109, not only us, 109 countries believe that, is the biggest step forward towards a healthier planet. That's how we look at it. Thank you. Now, any questions which you have?
So I will now.
Can I?
Yeah.
I will now request Ms. Siddiqui to conduct the press interaction.
You want to say something?
Good evening. I, Shamima Siddiqui, ADG PIB, have great pleasure in welcoming all to this curtain raiser press conference of the upcoming Assembly of the International Solar Alliance. We are privileged that Honourable Minister for Power and MNRE, Shri RK Singh, will be taking questions from the media. I welcome the dignitaries on the dais for this interaction. I request media persons to keep their phones on silent mode throughout. To allow all a fair chance to take questions, we may initially take 1 question from 1 person. If anybody has more questions, we can come back later. Kindly raise your hands and introduce yourselves before